I published a poll asking your opinions about ProBlacks. And in that poll, I asked two questions. One question was, are pro-blacks influencers whom are trying to make a difference in the community for the better? And the second question I had asked was, do you think pro-blacks are hustlers that are making money off the misery of black people? And I didn't get any response to that question. I think I had deleted that question like 2 or 3 times, and because I had to make like corrections on my grammar. So I think it was kind of like, I think there was some confusion that was going on in my part when I released that poll. But that's pretty much what the poll was about. Now, what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to give you my answer to that question. And to get to the point, I'm going to say that they are race hustlers. Now, to explain the reason why I think they are race hustlers is because you have to understand, and I mentioned this in one of my other videos. I think I actually mentioned it 2 or 3 times in 2 or 3 videos that I have on my channel, that when it comes to the black community, you have a political party, the Democratic Party, who, what they will do is they will take topics and they will spin the narrative in those topics. And when they're preaching to us, the black community, they're pushing a narrative in which we are supposed to view those topics as racist. They don't do it to no other community but the black community. And the reason why I call that out is because I personally believe they do that as a strategy to get more votes in midterm elections, presidential elections, and if possible, your local elections. And the reason why they believe that is because they know that if they can keep us in a state of victimization, they got us sold. They got us balked. Either way it goes, they know that they're gonna get majority of the black population, because after they spin that narrative, they're gonna, at the same time, they're going to give us these so-called solutions that they have created that has majority of us thinking that they could fix the problem. And it's been proven time and time again that their solutions don't fix the problem. And that's the intent. The intent is for us to continue to complaining, and they're giving us solutions, and to a point to where we buy into it, and more than likely they'll win a re-election or an election. But anyhow, the reason I'm breaking up the strategy of the Democratic Party is because this is my opinion, I believe that pro-blacks have learned that strategy and they use it for their advantage. I really do believe that. Because when you look at the black community, we have so many problems. We have so many problems that we are dealing with that we have never seemed to get over. Now I understand you can't fix problems overnight. But god damn it, this stuff been going on for generations. This has been going on for generations, man. And when you look at the concept of pro-blacks, they exist only to infuse concepts and ideas, infuse strategies into the community that we should be able to see some progress, but we don't see no progress. And when you actually listen to these pro-blacks talk, they're doing the same thing as these Democratic politicians. They're regurgitating the same stuff. They are no different. Now, I know you recognize the guy on this photo. I mean, the one on the left is me, but I'm talking about the one on the right. Dr. Umar Johnson. Now, yes, I have him on the photo, but there's many more pro-blacks out there that's doing the same thing. They're using the same gameplay that these Democrats use. They sell us solutions that they know is not going to help us, but they're able to sell it to where majority of us buy into it. And the next thing you know, we are repeating history. We haven't gotten anywhere. We're not going to get anywhere. You have children, and I'm going to do a video on this, but you have black children that are going through a lot of mental health issues. Now you will have pro-blacks that will bring that up, but they're not coming up with any ideas. What they'll do is they will spin it and bring up the legacy of slavery and this white supremacy and use that to give us the idea that they're the ones who created these systems in place to have our children walking around being confused. You have women out there that are having children out of wedlock. And they're not only having children by one guy, but they're having children by multiple of guys. But these pro-blacks are not talking about that. And if they do talk about it, what they'll do is they will bring up they'll bring up polygamy and act as if that's not a problem. Like, I've actually heard pro-blacks talk about this. They actually said they have actually said that the nuclear family unit is a white or European structure. And then what they'll do is they'll talk about it as if that's a bad concept. But then they'll bring up polygamy or polygyny, and they'll sell that as if that's actually the right way of going about it. And as you can see, those two systems are running rampant through black America, and you see the damage it's doing. And when you compare white America and you look at how majority of their families are the nuclear family unit, you see how their system is actually making sense. They are actually showing progress compared to what we are doing. And I'm thinking to myself, like, so you mean to tell me, Mr. Pro-Black, that you actually think that it makes sense for one guy to go out here and have all these children by all these women, can't support all these goddamn children and all these women, so yet you want another guy, a black man, to come in the picture and clean up what the other black men have created? That's pretty much what you're saying. Now, I know I said in one of my other videos that I think that it's better to have a blended family than a single parent family. I know I said this, and the reason why I said it is because of the fact that you do need balance. Whether you want to admit it or not, children need balance. Now, at the same time, I do believe that in some situations in the black community, that blended families are pretty much a hustle for women. But that's just my opinion. And at the same time, I don't think it's all blended families. Because we all know, when it comes to, when you look at the statistics, majority of kids being raised by single parent homes, they're living under they living at poverty level lines. They're struggling. The mothers are struggling. We see that every day on social media. So it only makes sense for the mother to go out there and find a partner who's willing to come in and create a balance. But these pro-blacks, they talk like that's supposed to happen. Not having a nuclear family, but you know what? It's like, you know what? I'm just gonna go to the next subject because I don't want to make this video too long. I really don't want to make it long. But now I spoke about the women. Well, I spoke about the children and their mental health. I spoke about the women in the birth rate compared to the ones who are having children that's married. And I mean, there's so many others. There's so many others, man. Again, it's just like I said, man. We have a lot of issues going on in the community, and I'm gonna tell you right now, it's gotten to a point to where a lot of black people have just given up on it. They just don't care. And I have to ask another question to the pro-blacks. Was this your intent? Was this your intent to come in and talk about the struggles and keep talking as if you want to tie it in with white supremacy? And instead of coming up with solutions to fix the problem, you kept wanting to push that narrative to a point to where now you don't push us away. Was that your intent? I thought your intent was to bring Black America together, not push them away. But from what I'm seeing on social media, that's what's happening. You have Dr. Umar Johnson, and he's up here talking about he wants to build a school for boys. And I'm like, you want to build a school for boys? That sounds good, but I know you're not trying to do it here in America. Not the country that's been created by the system of free labor with the form of slavery. When you had blacks being the slaves and the whites was the ones running things. I know you're not talking about a country where you have a system of white supremacy from what you say. So I know you're not talking about building a school here. How you going to do it? I mean, for you to build a school in America, you have to go to that government that you go against every goddamn time you talk. That same government that you claim has created white supremacy. You have to go to them. You have to go to your local, state, and your federal, depending on what you're trying to do when it comes to getting approvals and getting zoning approvals and getting funding. You have to go through 3 levels of government just for all that stuff to happen. So you mean to tell me that you're willing to tell black people that we need to give these white people the side eye every time they move, every time they create policies, regulations? We need to give them the side eye, but yet you the same guy that's willing to shake their hand to get your school built. Because again, you have to go to them to have this stuff done. They're the ones going to give you the permit. They're the ones going to give you the license. They're the ones going to sit there and give you the license for the teachers in order for them to teach. They're the ones going to give you the land. They're the ones going to get you registered under the Board of Education, Department of Education. They're the ones that got to do all that. And then you sit there and you get on a social media platform like YouTube that's owned by those same white supremacists from what you call, and you get to run your mouth and tell black people that they're the enemy. Like, I'm all confused about this. Now, at the same time, I mean, you know, you're showing yourself to be a hypocrite in many ways. Now, I'm not even going to talk about the fact that it took you a long while to call out women the same way you call out the man. Because before, you was making videos talking about how you disagree with black men dating outside their race. That's all you spoke about. But for some reason, I'm looking at these videos, I'm like, well, he act as if black women are not doing it. And then you're sitting there and you pushing out this notion that if black men dates outside their race, they're destroying the community. They're downsizing the population of black people. Wouldn't you say the same thing about the woman? Because if the woman has a white guy and they have children and the woman gives birth, well, how would you explain that? Now, it took you a while to play both sides of the fence, but you was only on one side. But we're not going to beat up on that too much. We're just not. I mean, you pro-blacks, y'all spend your time talking about nothing. And again, y'all are no different from that same political party that keeps screwing us over and over and over again after every election. I mean, I'm gonna do a video. That pretty much concludes my video, but it concludes this video. But my next video or upcoming video, I want to do a topic about the discipline that black children have to experience in their households. Because fortunately, I didn't have to go through it. But when I hear stories and when I see these videos on social media, I really do feel bad for these children that's growing up in these homes of parents or a parent who is just off their rocker. When I see the way these parents are disciplining their children, I have to ask, do y'all know, like, what's wrong with you? I'm asking the parents, what's wrong with you? Because it just bothers me how you're taking a system that was used on our ancestors, and you're taking that same system and you're implying it and within your, or implementing it in your households, but at the same time you don't like the way the system was back then with your ancestors, but you're using the same system to discipline your children. I just don't understand that. But I'm gonna talk more about that in my next video, because I'll tell you, man, when I look at some of these videos, man, I'm telling you, I think God and I think my parents, that they had a lot of good sense in raising not only me but my sister. I just thank God. But we're gonna talk about that next video. But again, this video is about these pro-blacks, and again, the question was, do you believe that they're influencers to help the black community, or are they hustlers looking to make a buck off the misery of black people? And I pretty much answered that question based on my opinion and the reason why I think that way. So put your comments in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Subscribe to the channel, give it a thumbs up, share it, and I see you next time. Peace.